What's going on, YouTube? Broken Stoic here, coming at you with another video. This time we're talking about the planes of power. It's exactly what you've all been waiting for, baby. Now, let me just tell you, this is going to be a really short video. It's really easy. All we're going to need to do for this expansion is unlock your AA experience and move the little bar back over to 0%. So you can get 5 new levels. Okay, video done. Let's move on. Yeah, see ya. Good video, guys. Thanks. Appreciate you all. Stay tuned for more. All right, boys and girls. So let's break into this. The nitty gritty is Planes of Power is a really long expansion, and there is a ton of content. Progression is the name of the game, and there are many zones which are made up of about 4 tiers, and each tier requires that you perform different functions in order to get access to the next tier. You will need to complete each of these things in order to gain access to the elemental planes, which will eventually unlock access to Plane of Time. In order to complete all of these things, you have to perform hails and kill various different targets, both raid and non-raid. Some of this will also require that you farm keys, and some of those keys are less than fun to farm. That being said, Aporia and Kata love us, and they have made some mechanics of flagging much easier. So everyone, let's please take a moment to thank those beautiful, wonderful devs of ours. Thank you, Kata. Thank you, Aporia. Please, for the love of Jesus, don't do terrible things to my account. I just love you guys. And, you know, I love your server, and it's pretty great. So thank you. Oh, you guys actually wanted me to go over all the content for Planes of Power? Oh, geez. Well, here we are. Let's talk about the pre-flagging system. So the things that you're going to want to do prior to venturing out into the planes. First and foremost, what you're going to want to do is, as soon as you zone into Planes of Power, you're going to want to run over to Graham Dunnar, who is a little dwarf who is going to give you your Planes of Power charm, an intricate wooden figurine. Now, upon hailing him and saying the word craft, he is going to give you not 1, not 2, but 3 charms, 1 for each one of your classes. In addition to this NPC later on, you can tell him, I have stories, and he will grant you free AA for each flag that you obtain throughout Planes of Power. So if you want to skip this for now and just come back to it once you've finished flagging, you can just say it over and over and over again to him, and he'll continue to give you flags. In addition to this, there is another NPC by the name of Sir Mal Ne Shi. She's right next door in the building, actually parallel to Graham. And if you need to check on your flags to see which flags you've completed versus which flags you have not for your account, you go up to her and you say guided meditations. And this is her only mechanic on this server. Typically, you're also able to say unlock my memories, which would fix the order in which you do your Planes of Power flags. But on this server, because these guys are so saucy and so sexy and so sultry, they have programmed it in a way so that your flags will never be screwed up. So first off, in Tier 1, we have a few different zones. Plane of Disease, which is something that you must complete in order to do Plane of Torment and Crypt of Decay, which are both Tier 2 zones. You'll start off Plane of Disease by talking to Adler Feuerstill, which is a paladin-looking fella standing outside a giant faucet, just pouring poo and filth and waste. And yes, that is exactly how you zone in. You jump into the poo waste filled faucet, and maybe you get a little in your ear and your eye and your nose. You squeeze your toes together and let it really squish in. It's pretty nice. So you're going to go in there. You're going to see this giant landscape of hair follicles, pustules, and there's rats and slime and goo, and it's just disgusting. If you open your map, you're going to see there's a giant castle. And outside of that castle, there's a wall. You go through the opening in the wall, you enter into the castle, you fight your way up. You're going to eventually reach Grime, the Crypt Guardian. When you do so, you're going to kill him, and he's going to drop a key. Now, there's going to be a couple other little mini bosses between you and the final character or NPC of this zone, and that's Grummus. Maybe you've heard the name, maybe you haven't heard the name. Grummus is a big, old, fat, sexy. He's a glorious man. Once you kill Grummus, you're going to learn the very first thing there is about THJ and Pop. You will notice that when he dies, you receive a character flag. There will also be a planar projection. Even though you do not need to hail the planar projection, I recommend doing so just to ensure that you receive the flag. Once you have killed Grummus, there's this big, weird-looking machine. If you walk over to it and click it, it will actually open up a big hole in the ground, which leads down to the Crypt of Decay. I recommend you jump in this hole, and that will complete your flag for Plane of Disease. Next up is Plane of Justice. You need to complete Plane of Justice in order to unlock Plane of Storms, as well as Plane of Valor, which eventually leads into Bastion of Thunder, and also opens up Halls of Honor into Mithaniel Marr. As you guys are going to learn, all of this stuff is linked, so I'll touch on briefly each one as we go through it, but that's kind of the skinny. So Plane of Justice isn't quite as cut and dry as a lot of the other ones. You actually need to go down into the prison section of Plane of Justice and talk to Mavwin. When you talk to him, you're going to say, "What information?" and he's going to give you a character flag. You are then going to go to the trial portion of the zone. When you get there, you're going to see a bunch of tribunals standing around. My recommendation is that you do the trial of execution. It is probably the easiest trial to complete, and all that's involved is that you go in there, you stand there, wait for 4 ads to spawn, kill them as quickly as possible, or before the executioner reaches the gallows and sacrifices the prisoner. There's going to be a few waves of this. It's pretty easy. Each time you kill one of the NPCs, it resets the executioner back to the start of the room, and you just go through and do that. So if you don't have the greatest DPS or you struggle in an AoE environment, just focus one down, kill it, then focus the next one down, kill it, move on. Each time you kill one, it'll reset that event. Once you've completed that, you're going to go back out. You're going to hail the little tribunal guy that's in the room, and you will go back to where you entered into the execution trial. You'll walk up to the tribunal and you will say, "Mavwin sent me." This will give you another character flag. You will then need to walk back all the way down to Mavwin, and you'll need to hail him for the final character flag. Next up is Plane of Innovation. Now, this is required to open up Plane of Tactics, as well as this zone is actually connected to Plane of Time. Now, this one requires a few different things. First of all, you have what's called the Xanamek event, and this gives you a factory flag key, which allows you to enter into the factory. Listen here, all of you illusion masking using monkeys, you should get this character flag. It will help make your life 100 times easier, and honestly, it's really not that bad. What I recommend you do is you clear the way between the Xanamek event and the gnome NPC, which I'll pop a little map up here. Just clear the way and make sure you loot these items here in order to spawn the event. Once the event begins, you're going to just escort this guy. And because you've already killed everything, you're literally just walking alongside him. Once you get there, the Xanamek will become targetable and you can fight him. Now, very, very important, don't use AoE abilities because the gnome that you just escorted all the way here is targetable and he will try to fight you in the arena. You will probably kill him very easily. You obviously do not want to do this. Once you've completed killing Xanamek, again, you're going to see a character flag, but a planar projection will spawn. And again, I do recommend hailing it. You're going to go to the factory entrance. Once you open that door, there's going to be a little gnome named Gwyn Miracon standing there. This little fella here, you're going to tell him that you, or specifically, I will test the machine. This will give you yet another character flag and start the Manitic Behemoth progress. You're going to go over into this big area right here, and you're going to notice that there are two pipelines, essentially two sections of room that come together and enter into one main room where the Behemoth is standing. You'll also notice that the Behemoth is not targetable. This is because you have to keep these little spiders, oh my god, they're annoying. You have to keep them all from touching the Behemoth. They are made aggro to you once you aggro one. So you can actually just pull one off to the side and let it hit you, and all the other spiders will aggro you from that point on. And you can just kill them one by one and just leave one aggroed on you. Or you can just tag them from the sides of the room. Just whatever you do, don't let them get to the Behemoth. The Behemoth will become targetable. You kill him. There actually won't be a planar projection thing for this portion. You'll actually need to go back and hail Gwyn Miracon, and you'll receive another character flag. Zone complete. Plane of Nightmare. Now, this is another one you must do before you can access the Plane of Torment. Plane of Nightmare is actually going to be a pretty crazy one. I do think that there is reason to believe this zone may be the new hotspot for making cash. In the testing that I did, I looked and I do believe that this zone has the most amount of NPCs that are easily accessible, like per capita, like the caves behind the waterfall, all of the mobs that just share. There's like 3 shelves in the zone, and all 3 of these shelves, tons and tons of NPCs. And these guys drop spells, ethereal parchments, they drop gems, they drop items that sell for insane amounts of money. They also drop a lot of trade skill items. So going to be worth doing this. The Hobgoblin tunnel is insane. There's a ton of NPCs in there. I personally don't remember anywhere near this amount of NPCs in here, but that's what we got. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. For this particular flag, you're going to have to go to the sick bay, which is in the Plane of Tranquility. You're going to need to go to Adroha Jazith, and you're going to have to hail her. And you're going to see a little elder poxborn laying on the floor crying like a little baby. Don't worry about him yet. Once you hail Jazith, you're going to get a character flag. Then you'll enter into the Plane of Nightmare. You will go to an area that is in the northeastern part of the map. It's called the Hedge Maze. There you will hail Elder Poxborn, and you'll tell him that you're ready. This will teleport you into the Hedge Maze, where you learn the first, greatest, wonderfulest gift that Kata and Aporia have for us. You do not have to do the Hedge Maze event. It teleports you right in front of the boss. You're going to kill that boss. You're going to loot the dagger. You're going to hail Elder Poxborn. You're going to hail him again and tell him that you're ready. This will teleport you just outside of the Hedge Maze, where you will go a bit south and to the east and access Plane of Nightmare B. This is where you will find Terrace Thule. After walking through the squiggly snake formed zone, you will reach a big arena, which Terrace sits in the middle of. She's exceptionally easy. Kill her, kill the ads. She's just not even an issue. Once you've killed her, again, you'll receive a character flag. Again, I recommend hailing the planar projection. Then once you leave, you're going to go out and hail Elder Poxborn back in the sick bay. This will give you a character flag. This completes tier 1. All right, guys. So we've made it to tier 2. Very first thing we're going to look at is the Crypt of Decay. You're going to want to make it over to Elder Fursteel in the sick bay. You're going to hail him. He's going to pop a character flag. Then you're going to go back. You're going to go down this little tunnel here, and you're going to enter into the Crypt of Decay. The first thing you have to do is the Carpent cycle. What this requires you to do is you're going to go up here into this zone. You're going to kill a few NPCs around Carpent. Once they're dead, kill Carpent himself. When he dies, he's going to spawn another boss slightly deeper in. You're then going to kill the next boss, and this is going to repeat a few times. You're basically just going to kill a boss, go a little bit deeper, kill another boss, go a little bit deeper. They're mini bosses. There's really nothing special about them. Again, this is a very simple process. Once you get to the final room, which looks like a bunch of church pews sitting in front of a giant bone throne, you will kill 2 knights, and once you kill them, a final NPC will spawn. You'll kill that, and then a little fella by the name of Tarkil Adan will spawn. You will hail him. He'll give you a character flag. This character flag is a key to access the Burtox event. Once you've obtained that flag, you're going to go back to the zone entrance. You might notice that there is a big bone throne in this room that reminds you exactly of the bone throne made it to at the end of the Carpent cycle. You're going to click this. It's going to teleport you into this big room with a giant green glowing obelisk sphere. It's a big stone thing. The first thing you're going to want to do is find the Spectre of Corruption. Now, if you look at the map, it's a little confusing. I do recommend you play with the height filter a little bit here. It's going to make this event and everything that's attached to it a lot easier. Essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to kill the Spectre of Corruption. That is then going to spawn a little group of ads along with a mini boss. You're going to kill that group. Then another group is going to spawn. Then you're going to kill that group, and another group's going to spawn. Rinse and repeat. The groups basically spawn in all these little notches on the edges of the map. So you don't really have to worry about like killing one group and then another group spawning on top of you. It's just kill and move on, kill and move on. Eventually, you're going to kill so many of these things that you're going to notice that there is no more dudes spawning and there's nothing else on the map. Well, the reason for this is because Burtox actually spawns on another platform slightly higher, and Burtox should be standing there. You'll kill him. Again, not a super hard fight, has a couple of dots, hits a little bit hard, nothing special. Kill him, get the character flag, run back to the sickbay, talk to Elder Fursteel. Again, he gives you a character flag. Boom. Crypt of Decay completed. Plane of Torment. You must complete the Plane of Disease and a Plane of Nightmare prior to going here. I know that this is not a standardized thing, but it is a part of the THJ planar progression. So in order to access Plane of Torment, once you've completed Plane of Disease and Plane of Nightmare, you're going to go to Thalia Shadyglade. She is in Plane of Tranquility in the sick bay. You're going to hail her. She's going to give you a character flag. And then you're going to go into this little area here, which will teleport you into the Plane of Torment. While in the Plane of Torment, the first step is going to be building a key. This key is called a Screaming Sphere. This particular key is made up of multiple pieces, which you will find in these areas. Each one of these areas is going to have an avatar, and then eventually you're going to have to do a little stomach event, where you literally climb through a stomach, killing named targets and trash until finally you fall into this area where you will kill a named who will drop mouth, which you will put all of the orbs that you find on from the avatars. You will combine them together to create your screaming sphere. Then you will go to this tower where you will climb up until you finally reach an event where you will kill this little robed feller here. During the fight, he'll actually turn into a creature. You will kill that. And you've got a little wood elf who's hanging out in a cage over here. Now you're going to go over, you're going to hail that wood elf, and you're going to hand him your screaming sphere. Then let him know you are ready, and he'll teleport you up to a little building. Now, this building is designed to be a maze, but allow me to make this really easy for you. You're going to go straight forward up to where there are 3 stairways. Take the right stairway. As soon as you get into that room, turn to your right and go up that stairway. When you get to the top of that, you're going to notice there's an opening across the hall. That opening is going to go up a stairway and onto a platform. You are going to go across that, and then you're just going to keep going up, and you're going to just follow through the areas until you reach the Keeper of Sorrows. You will kill him. The wood elf that you spoke to before will spawn. You will hail him just to make sure you get the flag and let him know that you're ready. He'll teleport you back down to the room where you were originally teleported up from. And you'll notice there's a door in the corner. You're going to go over, you're going to click on that door, and that will take you up to Saren. Now, Saren is a pretty easy fight, but she does have a bunch of ads, and there's a bunch of silence mechanics with this fight. Pro tip, though, if you pull her into the corner and you stand with your back up against one of the windows, you can actually completely avoid the ads entirely. And as you're doing damage to her, eventually the bird will become aggroable and you'll fight the bird. Again, super easy fight, not a big deal. Once you complete this, you'll leave here and you'll go back to Phalia's Shady Glade in the Plane of Tranquility in the sick bay. Upon doing so, hail her, character flag, boom, Torment done. Plane of Valor. In order to do the Plane of Valor, you must complete the Plane of Justice. Upon completing the Plane of Valor, this will unlock the Halls of Honor. Remember how I said there were keys, and some of these keys were a little harder than others? Well, this is the hardest key I think there is to get. You have to kill various different things throughout this zone in order to obtain all of the key pieces. Upon killing them all, you then have to go through a full process of hailing and speaking to all of these characters. You cannot skip this. You absolutely must talk to every last one of them if you plan to complete this process. I will very quickly show you here where you can see them all. However, just make sure, very important, do every step. Upon doing this myself, I decided that I was going to be a smart aleck and I was going to skip it. And I will tell you that not once, but twice, they ate all of my items and I had to farm them. And one of the items that I had to get for this key literally took me 11 full clears of these stupid frogs. Also, it doesn't drop off just any frog. It drops off the Dramite frogs. Make sure you're killing the right ones. Super important. Once you get the key and the key has been built, you're going to go up to the second platform. You're going to click, make sure the lever doesn't matter. There's a little lever up here. It looks like it should do something. It doesn't. You're going to click the little Lazy Susan looking thing, which is going to turn, open a little tunnel. You'll walk through that. You'll click the orb. It's going to teleport you down to Arendar. Now, next part. Upon killing Arendar, you will get a character flag. There will be a planar projection. Again, I recommend you hail these. Make sure, important, very important, make sure you do not leave this zone just willy-nilly. You need to go under the door that Arendar is standing on when you fight them. Go under there. There's a big pool of water which leads into a tunnel. You will then follow that tunnel all the way to the end. Once you get to the end, there will be a big lightning gate, and you're going to go walk into it, click it, whatever you want to do. You need to zone into the Halls of Honor through this process in order to complete this key. This is super important. So many people skip this or miss this or don't think about it, and then they screw their flag up, and then they have to come back and do all this all over again. Don't do that. It's bad. Plane of Storms. You must have completed the Plane of Justice in order to unlock the Plane of Storms. And upon unlocking the Plane of Storms and completing it, you will unlock the Bastion of Thunder. Now, there's a little fella who's off in a cave named Asker the Lost. You can run over, you can hail him and go through the process with that now, or you can just run out. You need to kill a named giant and, a handful, however many it takes for you to get each piece. We'll display each piece that you need on the screen, show you where each area is, but basically storm giant, sand giant, forest giant. Each one of these areas has an item you need: a sash, a beard, a bone. Upon getting all those, you also need 2. You don't need all 3. You need 2 medallions. So if you kill the storm named and the sand named, you don't have to kill the forest named. Any combination of those 3, really. You just need 2 talismans. Upon doing that, you're going to go back to Asker. You're going to go through the hailing and the different texts. He is going to give you a bag. You're going to combine the correct items into the first bag. Then he's going to give you another bag. You'll combine the medallions into the second bag. You're going to hand that back to him. He's going to say, yay, everything's great. He's going to give you a character flag. Then upon that, you will walk back to the middle of the zone, where you'll notice there's a bunch of tunnels that go to this big area. There's going to be a bunch of frogs in there. Now, there's this big, weird looking like tan machine in there. You're going to go to that. You're going to click that, and that is going to teleport you to the Bastion of Thunder. Pretty easy, cut and dry. Boom, boom, boom. Probably one of the easiest flagging zones in the entire expansion. Next up, Plane of Tactics. Now, this zone has a couple of different ways you can do it. I recommend personally killing Valen, killing Talon. So you kill Valenczek, you kill Talonzek. Then there's a big pit. In this big pit, you're going to go in there and you're going to murder everything in there. Upon murdering everything in there, you're going to go up and to Rallozek's room. Now, Rallozek is not going to be targetable. You need to kill the named guy on either side of this room. So there's 2 big doors, and on the outsides of those doors from the room, there are big ogres wearing black and red armor. You're going to need to kill both of those. Upon killing both of those, it's going to spawn Talon and Valen again. They're baby versions of them. They're super easy. Don't worry about it. They're a joke. Kill them. Rallos becomes targetable. Rallos is probably the first guy who's like, this version of him is really honestly not all that hard. But he's the first like place where you start to be like, oh, Planes of Power isn't maybe what as easy as I thought it was going to be. Maybe there's a little difficulty here. So you're going to burn him down. He is actually going to teleport to that pit where I told you to kill everything before. And this is why I told you to kill everything in there before, because you don't want to be in that pit killing all of those ads plus Rallos and Ralos infinitely spawns more ads. So kill him as fast as you can. With the changes to summoning, you can actually kite this fight. You can actually kite him and all the ads around the room. I did this on my ranger. You can literally just kite the whole room. Upon killing him, planar projection, character flag, same thing for when you killed Talon and Valen. They both gave you a character flag. Make sure you hail the planar projections just in case. Upon completing that, you've completed the plane of tactics. Congratulations. Tier 3. Bastion of Thunder. This zone is going to be one where you may want to roll in doing a respawning instance. You have several different items that you're going to need to obtain in order to get the keys for this zone. We're going to need a symbol of Torment and an enchanted ring of Torment. And those are obtained by doing the following. First and foremost, you're going to need to kill various different giants in order to obtain 4 pieces of elemental gem, which you're going to put in the container. You obtain the container by killing the boss from any one of the various different wings. Upon doing so, you will combine all those items and you will be able to teleport into one of the towers at that point. You will notice that there is a teleportation pad at the end of each wing. I typically do Earth. It's pretty easy. It's pretty cut and dry. You can just kind of run up, touch the pad, clicks you up. And once you get to the top, you're going to be in this weird place with this weird, I don't know, suggestive looking device here. I don't know what they were thinking when they made this thing, but it's basically a, let's just call it an erect lightning rod. In addition to that, because of the graphics on the server, the gargoyles that are on all sides of it appear to be worshipping or doing some other hip thrusting motion in its direction. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but somebody's having fun and it wasn't me. So you'll notice that there are 4 different wings, 4 different towers. You'll need to go in each one. You will need to loot yet another item, and you will need to clear one of the bosses from those in order to obtain yet another container in which you will use to combine all the items that you got from each tower. And this will give you the final key. You will then click up utilizing that nice erect lightning rod, and it will take you to a big fiery red hot room. You'll notice there are portals on each side. Each one of those portals will spawn ads. The easiest mechanic is to burn down the portals, then burn down the ads, then burn down the boss. If you have enough damage to just burn down the boss, like go for it, knock yourself out. The second boss in this mechanism is a doozy. 90% slow. You may or may not have heard Aporia talk about how there was this mechanic and they were going to have to work around it and figure out whether or not it was going to be a curse or a magic-based debuff. Well, I hate to tell you this, but what I learned from doing this is that potion wasn't enough, that they recasted the slow so frequently and because the potion is lore, you would burn through a potion in like half a second. I mean, it was happening so frequently, sometimes as frequent as like it was being recasted every 10 to 15 seconds during the fight. Kill the portals, kill the ads so that the slow stops hitting you, kill the main guy. Upon doing so, Asker will spawn. You'll hail him. It'll take you up to Agnar the Stormlord, who is the real first big booty hole, bad boy, mother trucker of... This is where things start to open some eyes, if you will, for me. I went in there and I'm not going to lie. I nearly died to this guy probably 2 or 3 times. He has a stun. He spawns ads. There's tons of things going on during this fight. There's damage happening constantly. It was a pretty wild fight. Definitely recommend paying attention. Don't go in there just expecting to willy-nilly beat this fight. Some builds are going to have a super easy time, but this is where my eyes began to open. Kill him, walk back up, hail Karana, and congratulations. You have officially completed Bastion of Thunder. Halls of Honor. So, this one's a little bit of a doozy. Each one of the wings has a trial. You have to go to the northeast room and hail Trident Fae, and this will start an event. It's going to spawn an armor. Upon killing the armor, the event begins. So the northeast is the dragon event, which you basically have to kill the guy, then you have to do so much damage, then he spawns Rydadar, and then you have to kill Rydadar. Upon completing that, you will receive a flag. I would still hail the planar projection, and then head out to the next trial. The northwest room is the villagers trial, and there you will hail Ralik Trell. And this particular one is several rooms in which ads or NPCs will spawn and try to kill the villagers. Kill them all. There's 4 in each room, 4 NPCs in each room. And protect the villagers. Make sure all the villagers don't die. Pretty cut and dry. Again, 3 rooms, bunch of villagers. Kill the dudes. Move on. Kill the next dudes. Move on. Kill the next dudes. Pretty easy. Trial 3 is the villager trial, and this one's in the southeast corner of the zone. Here you'll hail Alexin Garn, and upon hailing him, he'll spawn an armor, and then the event starts just like the others. And for this one, you'll actually kill a couple of aggressive guys, and upon killing the aggressive guys, it will spawn a boss. You'll then kill those. Then you'll move on to the next group. And again, 3 rooms. You'll do this 3 times. Pretty easy, not hard really. Just, kill the guys. Easy, cut and dry. Upon completing all of these, you will receive your flag to enter the Halls of Honor B, where you will go on to fight Mithaniel Marr. So Halls of Honor B is a kind of a weird looking zone. It's pretty easy to navigate through to get to Mithaniel Marr. What you'll notice first off is he's not on the map and he's not targetable. That's because you have to kill all of the other things in his room before he becomes accessible. Now, this is pretty easy. Things start to have a decent amount of health at this point. Again, they don't hit all that hard, but things definitely, you'll notice that things have quite a bit of health, and the resists in this particular area are very high. Mithaniel Marr does heal, does stun, does a few silly mechanics, but overall, relatively easy fight. You're going to kill him, character flag, again, hail the planar progression, and you can either walk out, but I would recommend teleporting out. Only reason being is upon killing him, you'll become KOS to all of the stuff that you probably weren't KOS to previously. Kill on sight. Soul Row Tower. This is the place where if you do not have skips, aka stealth, imitate death, fade, some form of dropping aggro, this is going to be a big, long zone for you. The kind that just makes your butt hurt a little bit because there's a lot to do here. You'll notice right off the bat that there are stairways that lead off in 5 different directions. Zuzzle, Arlixir, Jiva, Rizlona, and the Protector of Dresselic. Each one of the areas, you'll go into it, you'll click a little fire pot, it's going to take you up to their area. You'll then have to fight through a series of mobs to get to the actual boss. You'll kill the boss. A planar progression will pop. You should receive a character flag upon killing them. And just kill the bosses, move on. Kill the next boss, move on. You will have to kill all of these bosses to receive each one of their flags before you can go to the center of the zone, where you will find a giant pyre with runes on it. Upon going into this or clicking on this giant pyre, it will teleport you up to Solusek Rose area. You'll kill the ads, you'll go up, you'll find that he's on a pedestal. You can pull him down from the pedestal just fine. Upon killing him, you can then go back to where you teleported up to his room. You'll notice that there is a big floor grate on the ground, which you can stand on, click. It's going to drop you into a lava tube. The lava tube goes down, so just keep swimming deeper into the lava tube. And this will teleport you to the very first elemental plane, fire. Tier 4. We finally made it to the elemental planes. And we're going to start out with Plane of Fire. This one's pretty cut and dry. You're going to spawn into the zone. You're going to make your way from what's called C1 through a giant field of crazy. There's going to be 2 big birds. Absolutely insano birds. They're relatively easy to kill. You're going to go past those. There's going to be a giant field with a giant frog and a giant spider and a giant demon and a giant golem, as well as tons and tons of ads. And this zone is going to be one of those amazing EXP locations. Once you do that, you're going to reach a second area. This particular area is known as C2. On the back half of C2, there's going to be a big red demon standing underneath an arch. It's going to look kind of like a gate. You're going to kill that big red demon, and that is going to spawn the Fenin Row event, which is essentially a giant bridge that suspends over a lava river. And you're going to have to kill wave after wave, demons, healers, nukers, tanks. You're going to kill them one by one group by one. And as you get back to the end of the bridge, there's going to be a stairway with about 15 or so guys there. And you're going to need to be very careful about how you pull these. Otherwise, you'll pull too many. These do a lot of damage. And you'll kill the 3 demons that are standing on the stairs. And when you do that, it's going to trigger the next portion of the event, which is 3 bosses that spawn inside Fenin Row's room. You're going to kill each one of those bosses one by one. There's nothing really special about them. It's going to spawn 4 demons and Fenin Row, which for whatever reason on this server, the aggro radius is very low. So you're able to actually pull these pretty easily without aggroing other ones. You're going to clear them all out, and then you're going to engage Fenin Row. Now, Fenin Row hits kind of hard, but by and large, he's pretty easy. It's a pretty easy fight to do. And when you kill him again, there's going to be a planer. You're going to want to hail that, even though it's probably going to tell you that you have a character flag upon killing that boss. And congratulations, you've completed fire. It was that easy. Next up, and substantially less easy, is the plane of air, the home of Zegany. Now, the first part of this is getting a key. And when you go to the outside of the plane of air, there's going to be Sarya the Dawn Breeze. Now, Sarya, you're going to hail, and you're going to say plane of air, and she will give you a pouch of swirling winds. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to combine 4 mystical essences that you're going to obtain within the plane of air from completing events. And when you combine them in the bag, you'll get a key. And you're going to need that key in order to click up to Zegany's island. Plane of air is probably one of the most confusing / annoying elemental planes out there. You have an avatar of wind, an avatar of smoke, an avatar of mist, and an avatar of dust. And each one of them has an event attached to them, which you must complete and then kill the avatar to obtain the piece. This zone is one of the few zones in the game which hide sneaking actually won't get you past everything. There are certain mobs in here that can see through stealth, so be aware. and know that unless you have something like Fade or Feign Death, you're probably not skipping past much. Once you do this, you'll get the key. There's a little thing, little area where you're going to click up, and it's going to take you to Zegani's Island. Now, Zegani's Island is kind of a weird doozy place. What I recommend you do is you kill the ads, and then you go and engage Zegani. One of the reasons you want to kill these ads is because throughout the fight, there's actually going to be a lot of ads spawning with her. She hits like a truck, and she hits really fast, as do all of the ads. So keep in mind, this is a fight that's going to be, you're going to start seeing some real damage coming out. Once you kill her, you get the character flag, hail the planar projection, and make sure you have that flag. And then boom, plane of air, done. Plane of water. Now this one's a little weird. So what's going to happen is you're going to enter into the plane, and you're going to swim all the way down to Cornav. And you're going to notice that Cornav is sitting in this huge room behind this little wall. And when you engage these little guys, as you kill them, bosses are going to spawn. And you're going to feel like, oh man, I need to kill these bosses. Well, you're going to notice that these bosses have like 10 million hit points. And the way you actually lower their hit points is by killing the smaller guys. So you're going to kill all of the smaller guys. A boss is going to spawn. If you're capable of pulling this boss off to the side and then feign deathing it and then killing all the ads again, or all the small guys again, that's the easiest way. Focus on the small guys. Keep killing all the small guys until you've killed them all. And then what you're going to want to do is engage the minis. Each one of the minis will have substantially less health, and you'll kill them very quickly. Cornav is super easy to kill, and honestly, he's like the baby part of the fight. Once you've killed the minis and you've killed all the babies, then boom, you kill Cornav. He has under 500,000 hit points. I mean, he's super easy. So get that done. Get the character flag, hail the planar projection, boom, plane of water, done. We saved the best, question mark. We saved the best for last. Plane of Earth. In order to complete this particular gem, ha ha ha, dad joke, you will need to complete 4 different events in the zone. And these are not like super speedy events. They're not super fast experience. Unfortunately, many of these are timed events. All 4 of those events, you're going to kill a giant gator, which is going to give you a key. And you're going to go over and kill what's called the Mystical Arbiter of Earth. And behind the Mystical Arbiter of Earth is a door, which you're going to go through. And that's going to zone you into Plane of Earth B. Plane of Earth B has some relatively interesting mechanics. You'll notice that there are like 4 city areas that are sort of chambered off from one another. And you have to kill all of the mobs in each one to get a chieftain to spawn. When you kill them all and you get the chieftain to spawn, it will open the door. And then you're going to kill the next group and get the chieftain to spawn. And then you're going to kill the next group and get the chieftain to spawn. And as you do this, each door will open until you can finally go in and see the Wrath Council. If you can CC, be it root, snare, mez, whatever, you're going to be able to separate the Wrath Council. Make sure if you do not have those, try to use other mechanisms to split these guys up. They hit like trucks. It will not be a simple or easy thing to fight them all together. Once you kill them all, then you're going to be able to engage the seed. The seed will turn into the Avatar of Earth. You will then kill the Avatar of Earth, hail the planar projection. Congratulations, you have completed all of the elemental planes. Super important. There are items in these elemental planes which are going to be vitally important to your progress in the planes of power. In the plane of air, you are going to need to find an alabaster beak and an ivory storm rider canine. In plane of earth, you're going to have to find liquefied earth and shattered crystal. In the plane of fire, you're going to need to find the solidified magma and the fiery granite. And then in the plane of water, you're going to need to obtain emerald colored mephit scales and oil of a frog. And the reason you're going to need this is because you're going to have to combine these together with 4 glazed lacquers, 1 glazed mortar, high quality firing sheets, 2 of those, block of clay, medium jar sketch, and a water flask. And the reason for that is you're going to have to utilize all of these items to craft the Odelic Vial, which is going to be the last item you need. You're going to notice that when you killed those bosses in the plane of air, earth, fire, and water, there are going to be items that you obtain, which are going to allow you to create the Quintessence of Elements, which is vitally needed. You will combine all of these things together. It's going to give you the Quintessence of Elements. And then you're going to go to the plane of innovation, where you will hail Chronographer Moan. You're going to go into the factory, and instead of taking a right like you would to go to the Behemoth, you're going to take a left. And there's going to be a little robot there. Not the first robot, but the second robot on the left. You're going to hail him. He's going to say, "Oh, you've got the Quintessence of Time. Are you ready to be teleported?" And you tell him, "Yes." The answer is yes. It's not highlighted in the chat, but the answer is yes. And then it will teleport you to a little gnome who's standing in front of this giant machine. You're going to hail the gnome, you're going to get the character flag, and then you're going to click the machine behind him. Congratulations. You've made it through all the elemental planes and are now flagged for the plane of time.